Hello there, dear listeners. We are very excited to share with you the first episode of Free League Publishing's Blade Runner RPG and the campaign The Immortal Game. This is a story of rainy neon-lit streets, shadows, and difficult choices in Los Angeles 2037. For this series, we're joined by our good friend Aaron Hammonds from Queen's Court Games, who plays veteran Blade Runner Willem Novak, with Craig as the rookie replicant Blade Runner Fenna. If you enjoy what you hear, you can already find the first 10 episodes of this series available on our Patreon at the $5 level, together with many other campaigns for games such as Cult of Divinity Lost, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, Warhammer 40k, and Call of Cthulhu. Your support there is what keeps Red Moon Roleplaying going, and we would love for you to check it out. But for now, please enjoy the beginning of our journey into the world of Blade Runner, where I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
This is Red Moon Roleplaying.
Los Angeles, Tuesday, May 19th, 2037. Toxic rain is pouring down over the city, where gigantic buildings dwarf ancient skyscrapers. The neon lights ignite the mist and mayhem, and Los Angeles is alive in all its gloom and glory. You're Blade Runners. You walk the streets, both badge and boogeyman. The city, it fears you, resents that it needs you, refuses to accept that you're here to stay, and yet that is your job. To stand in the rain, steam, and shadows amidst the seething crowds and chaos, relentlessly pursuing what never wants to be found. That lone silhouette, bathed in light and darkness, looking for meaning and morality in both, and finding yourself somewhere in between. LA is a cacophony of cultures and moral contradictions on the best of days, a snarling war zone on the worst. Yet when you look upon this city, you see 30 million stubborn survivors, and you swore an oath to protect them, because it is your home, your brutal, beautiful mess. And when it counts, you swear this place and its people are capable of more hope and compassion than anybody gives them credit for. So screw the off-worlders for giving up on this city, and screw the megacorps for thinking somebody's right and standard of living should be based upon who you know and what you're born with, not what you deserve. More each day you have learned that the system is broken, that the rich write rules only the poor must follow, that the bad guys win while the good guys do paperwork, that the greatest threats are far outside your reach, above your pay grade, and below your moral belt. And the more you're exposed to the city's worst corruptions and seductions, the more you're outnumbered, the more you're expected to run into the fight. Making it out alive is your problem. This is what it means to be a Blade Runner. To play a rigged game you're intended to lose. To serve a system that doesn't protect you, but expects you to protect it. But if anybody's playing against the house, better somebody with a badge. Hey, even pawns can keep kings in check. On good days, they can even make him fall. And in those moments, it doesn't matter if inside you is a soul or synthetics, because when you pull that blaster, you're nothing but a Blade Runner. The closest thing this city's got to a fighting chance. And you've got a job to do. We now turn to our two characters. The lights from the huge billboards flash along the streets and wipe across the crowds of pedestrians in Sector 5, Little Tokyo. The White Dragon noodle bar is crowded with customers, sitting on stools slurping their foods out of bowls. Among them is the veteran Blade Runner Willem Novak, enjoying a few days of hard-earned rest and reading today's Independent Sentinel newspaper. Can you describe yourself and your thoughts on this Tuesday night with the rain as always pouring down and the wonders of LA all around you?
You know, I've forgotten what a dry night in Los Angeles feels like. Feels like the rain hasn't stopped falling since they spilled Tyrell's blood. But all that water can't wash away the filth. So tonight, I'm trudging through it, watching this place rot from the inside out. I'm a man in his early 40s, sitting hunched over at a curbside noodle stand, the neon lights reflecting off of a singularly disheveled face, with deep-set, faded steel gray eyes. There's an aura of stubbornness around all of me. Close-cropped salt and pepper hair that finds a way to be messy despite how short it is. A face that's roughened by stubble, always just shy of becoming an actual beard. This is a body that has seen darkness enough for several lifetimes. Yet, here I remain, carrying on, one stubborn heartbeat after another, wrapped in a worn trench coat, a rumpled shirt, and a loosely knotted tie. The only thing that gives me any amount of respectability, that separates me from the drifters and such crowding through this lower level of the city, is the badge on my belt, which still gleams underneath those layers of grime and resignation. That said, it's my day off, and I've got my two favorite distractions handy, noodles and news. So I'm scanning the front page of the Independent Sentinel in between two big mouthfuls of something I'm pretending is real udon. I mean, the headlines are the same old: corporate propaganda and misplaced human hope. Wallace Corporation multiplying their production, selling the flawless obedience of their new models. Ugh. I know better. I remember Eldon Tyrell's promises before the bloodshed, before the blackout, before everyone had their illusions stripped away. History repeats itself, and polished and packaged for a society that refuses to learn. Whatever. I've seen this cycle too many times, humanity crafting its monsters, dazzled by progress, and how these skin jobs, they're walking openly among us, indistinguishable except for that quiet dread they awaken in men like me. But that's a tomorrow problem. Tonight, I'm just gonna flip this paper back down onto the wet countertop and return to my food.
And it is your night off, and you've deserved this. As you think this, there is a detective special spinner that descends to street level and sets down not too far away from where you're sitting, steam and smoke appearing as it lands. Out steps our other character, Fenna. Fenna, who are you, and why are you here on this night?
Well, I am a young woman, possibly, in appearance at least, no older than 20. Short, dark hair, very pale skin. Dressed smartly in the uniform of the RDU, at least the uniform that their field agents often wear. I am a Nexus 9 replicant. I have been in service for 1 year now. I am the lead interrogator, a negotiator and manipulator for my current Rep Detect unit, having scored excellently on several tests, and at this point in time maintaining a very high baseline. This is good. I am here to locate Mr. Novak. He has been called in, and it is my duty to make sure he comes in immediately. I'm, at this point in time, not totally aware of the details of why we are both needed, but that doesn't matter. I'm here to do my job, which I enjoy, and it is sometimes pleasant to get out of the office and experience the nightlife of LA, to feel the rain on the skin just for a moment. But for now, I will begin to assess the crowd and see if I can locate Mr. Novak. I have been given his details, his picture. I need to make sure I appear amicable to his current situation. I would not want to start this experience off on a bad note.
Indeed, and you have indeed been given description of how he looks like, and, well, the trench coat does kind of give him away. He's sitting right over there by the counter at the White's Dragon Noodle Bar, reading a newspaper, seemingly. What do?
I take a moment to take out my umbrella, not wishing to get too damp in the rain, and I will slowly head over to this food establishment. I will observe Mr. Novak and attempt to gently take a seat next to him, before smiling and saying softly, "Inspector Novak, I presume."
I don't even look up from my meal to see who is speaking to me. The voice doesn't matter, the body doesn't matter, because I'm off work. And I'll say as much, making a point to take an even bigger bite from the bowl. Not today. I'm off duty.
Is it good?
That question hits me just right in the center of the eardrum. There's no one in this city, no person in this city who starts a conversation that way. And so reluctantly, I turn my head just enough to bring you into my view. And you see my eyes narrowing as I continue to chew.
The food, is it good?
Swallow hard. No, it's cheap. Who sent you?
I'm silent for a few seconds as I take in your body language, your eye movements, your being. It's something I'm very good at. It's what I was designed to be good at, after all. And I kind of realize I need to be very gentle here. And I just am silent then. And I go and turn, actually, to the proprietor of this establishment, and I will order some food, saying, "I'll have what he's having, please."
And he answers you in Japanese, and you see him moving away to prepare this bowl of udon or whatever is the closest thing that we can come to that here.
I will take it and attempt to eat it. Does it taste cheap?
Well, it's totally decent. It's not bad stuff, really.
I say. It's not so bad. There's a place near where I live that does it a bit better, but this isn't so bad, Inspector.
Thank you for the culinary recommendation. Who are you again? And you know I know who you are. We have seen each other. We have spoken. I am deliberately pretending to not know who you are.
I certainly do know this, but that's fine. Again, it's part of your profile that you are going to be a little brusque. And that's okay with me. So I will smile lightly and remind you. Oh, I am designation FN9 2.39. Or Fenna, if you prefer, Inspector.
Yeah, I definitely don't prefer. What do you want?
You've been summoned back to HQ on an emergency briefing. I am sorry. I know you're having a day off, but unfortunately we are needed immediately. But they didn't say there was a time frame, so I feel we could finish our lunch, no?
I'm looking down at the meal. You hear me grunt. Yeah, we'll make him wait.
If there's one thing that Deputy Chief David Holden loves, it is being kept waiting. You can already now picture how he's going to respond to being made to wait. He's a man with strong opinions. But it is your choice. And it is perhaps amusing in some ways.
Knowing the way he's going to react makes this food taste better.
I feel justified in my actions. My briefing was to bring him in and not accept no as an answer, which seems to be going according to plan, so I'm fine. Besides, this food is enjoyable. Indeed
it is. And it doesn't take a tremendous amount of time to finish a bowl of udon. And you are finished, if you would like to be finished.
I'll stand and say, "We can take my car. I'm sure this won't be long, Inspector, and you can get back to having your well-deserved day off. Again, I apologize for the inconvenience."
Oh, well, thank you for your grace and gratitude. Those words have never been spoken with more contempt in the entirety of the human language. But I will let Fenna drive. My car is currently full of everything I own. There's not room for a second person.
That is right. Willem, what is it actually that's happening in your life recently? It's changed quite abruptly, hasn't it?
That's kind of rude of you to bring it up, to be honest. Look, I'm not an easy guy to get along with. And the thing that made Sarah special was she was the one person who got it, who was okay with all of those things. That's why we got married. Well, turns out, after 16 years, she's less okay with it than I thought she was. So we're having a break right now. The kind of break where she gets to keep all my shit and live in my house, and I have to sleep in my car or my office. But, you know, no big. It's the things we do for love, right?
The things that we do for love.
Not that this skin job would know.
That is true. What is your general feeling on replicants? I mean, you said it yourself there, that you have experience from, well, the Nexus 6 and the Nexus 8 series and the many, many problems that arose during those turbulent years. But now they are fully reintegrated into society and welcomed into the LAPD as full Blade Runners, something that would have been completely unthinkable back in, well, your day. I mean, it is still your day, but when you first started.
People have the shortest fucking memories. How many times are we going to do this? Oh, the 6s are safe. Nothing will ever go wrong. Oh no, we fixed it for the 8s. The 9s are perfect. The blackout? Does no one remember? They nuked Las Vegas, for Christ's sake. And every single time we get a promise, oh no, it'll be fine this time. At least until the next catastrophe happens. Like, I'm not one of those guys who gets so stuck in my way that I'm gonna go full Luddite. Gotta deal the hand I've dealt, earn the paycheck, and if that means working with this thing, then whatever. But mark my words, the next disaster's coming. And assuming I survive whatever the next generation of fuck-ups looks like, I will be wagging my finger, being the loudest one in the room, saying, I told you so.
And yes, you've gotten into your spinner, Fenna. And how do you feel now that you have been able to get Inspector Novak into your vehicle and on the way now towards your target?
I feel good. This task has been completed. I admit I was a little confused is the wrong word. Uncertain, perhaps, as to why I was chosen for this task. Given the profile of Inspector Novak, I know he is perhaps not a fan of replicants such as myself. I imagine it would have been better if someone else had been sent. But then again, I do not know why, and I do not question. I was given an order, and it is my duty to complete said orders. So I feel good that this has been completed. I will make sure he gets in the car safely, begin to rise the car up into the air, and relax. The smile I had before goes away. It's no longer needed. We are once again in a professional setting, and I do not need to manipulate him anymore. Therefore, the journey is perhaps a little silent, as I don't imagine he wants to make small talk, and I would struggle to think of what would interest him.
The setting isn't that professional, because the second we're in the car, I am lighting a cigarette. Not because I need to smoke, although I do, but because it's your car, and I'm going to smoke in it.
My eyes move over to observe this for a second. I think to myself, is this some sort of attempt at provocation? No matter. If he wishes to smoke in the car, he is allowed. And instead, I will turn on a radio-like device which starts to play some old-fashioned music. I say, you don't mind some ambient, do you?
No, that's fine. You can hear that I'm disappointed you're not upset.
Indeed, and I feel happy that I've not upset you. That would be against the mission's parameters.
And you leave in the spinner. Voices in different languages are coming in over the radio, over the ambient music that you've turned on. You hear Japanese, English, Russian, Chinese, Finnish, French, all the world in one rain-soaked city. You glide between massive skyscrapers high above the street bustle towards the imposing LAPD tower. The brutalist design and the large letters saying LAPD certainly do make a statement. A statement that, in spite of the world dying all around you, law must and will be upheld. And You set the spinner down, you've done this many times. You make your way through the tower, and you soon find yourselves in Deputy Chief David Holden's office. The office is at the top of the tower, and there's rain that's pattering against the windows. Piles of documents everywhere. Ceiling fans churning the smoke-filled air. Holden is in his late 50s. He worked his way up to this role. He was a tanner himself, a rep detect and a virtuoso with the Voight-Kampff machine. He's wheezing with the synthetic lungs that he got after being shot and nearly killed 18 years ago by a rogue Nexus 6. Leon Kowalski, part of the group that ended up killing Eldon Tyrell. Events that changed not just LA, but the entire world. And he takes a sip from a glass of bourbon as you come in and nods. Now sit down. He's got a rasping voice and lights up a cigarette. He's holding out his pack also to check if you want one. Perhaps yours is still lit, Novak?
No, once we got out of the car, I didn't need it anymore. So now that we're in the office, I'll take another.
What about you, Fenna? Do you smoke?
No, I don't. I can if needed. Some of my missions have sometimes required the usage of cigarettes or narcotics or alcohol, but I do not actually enjoy them that much. I do not see the point.
And he moves back the pack, almost reminding himself, oh yeah, it's a replicant. Look, we have an urgent situation. That's why I called you in. Novak, I know it's your day off. I know you earned it. But I need you, alright?
Yeah, you wouldn't if it wasn't important. That's what you always say. I'll take a long, pointed drag. What is it this time?
Last night it was a shooting in Sector 1. The Snake Pit on Nightclub Row. You know the place, right?
Been there once or twice?
Seedy fucking place if I ever seen one. He looks to you as well, Fenna, to see if you recognize this place. Have you been there?
I have been there many times. It is where I live, in a small, functional apartment above a bar somewhere on the eastern side. I find it perfectly acceptable, but I am aware that it has a reputation. And I nod firmly and say, that's actually where I've been assigned living quarters, sir. So yes, I am familiar with the area. A shooting, you say? That's awful.
So, two of your colleagues were there. LH37.93 and SN91.48. Leah and Sandor. Did you know Leah and Sandor? And in that case, what was your relationship with them?
I am briefly aware of Agent Leia, though we do not serve in the same unit. Our paths have crossed. I found her professional and pleasant to be around. I have not had the pleasure of interacting with this Sandor unit, no.
And what of you, Novak?
If I wasn't personally assigned to work with them, I don't give a shit. It sucks they're dead because they're cops, but I don't have time in my life to get to know replicants.
So, Sandor was shot dead, and, Leah, she's now missing. We have no idea where she is. Now, they went to the Snake Pit to investigate suspected Nexus 8 activity. But we don't know if that's what triggered the shooting. According to local cops at the scene, well, witnesses said that there were human supremacist assholes at the Snake Pit last night. Maybe that's got something to do with it. We just don't know. I guess we'll read all about it in their sleazy tabloid Kill tomorrow. That's where you come into the picture. I need you to figure this out, and fast. I have the brass breathing down my neck on this. As you know, Nexus 9 replicants were approved for use on Earth just last year. And mistrust against the reps is running high. If someone is out there killing and kidnapping Nexus 9s, well, we need to find them and stop them. Fast. And, as you can imagine, the Wallace Corporation is pushing us harder than this as well. Their business depends on this new breed of replicants, and anything that jeopardizes that would be a major blow to their bottom line. They're letting us run this investigation, but have offered, and he makes quotation marks, their assistance. Their PR manager, Quell, is expecting you at Wallace Corp headquarters to tell you more about Leia. you better prioritize going to see her. Play nice with them. I do mean that. We cannot afford to piss off Wallace. No, and you both know this, of course. Wallace is perhaps the most important of the megacorps. First, responsible for solving the food crisis through their synthetic proteins and farming bioreactors, then reinvigorating the off-world colonization efforts through the reintroduction of the Nexus 9s. In just a few years, the off-world colonies have grown from 2 to 9. Not that you will ever have a chance to experience life there.
I look up and smile at that last comment and say, why on earth would I want to anger Mr. Wallace? Or the Wallace Corporation?
Exactly. And he looks to you, Novak.
Yeah, he was talking to me.
Oh.
No worries, Chief. We've done this dance before. I know how it ends. And we have done this dance before. I assume it's like a quarterly task, probably, where Chief and I have to have a fight about the amount of influence Wallace Corp has over what I end up doing for a living. But for all my many faults, and emphasis on many, I'm a married to the job kind of guy. So when it's time to work, it's time to work.
I hold back for a second the desire to say something about the actual case. For a moment, my instincts, of course, tell me to react to this like a murder case. But I then remind myself that, of course, it isn't a murder case, because my fellow replicants, well, it's more like property damage. So I will not say anything there.
Do you actually think that way?
For a moment, it's corrected. It's pure instinct. The instinct of an interrogator. But again, it takes a second or so to remind myself that this is a property damage case, not a murder case, no.
Is that a genuine feeling, Fenna? Like, is that genuinely how you feel about your kind? That you are property? Are you property? Are you owned?
Perhaps there is a pause, and then the answer in my mind is a yes, of course. I am here to do a job, I am here to serve, and I am happy for this opportunity. It brings me, well, a feeling of happiness, yes. And nothing more than that.
Then the programming remains strong as ever. Good. Good. Holden speaks up again. Now you can play it as any way you like. You can split up to cover more ground if you need to. I don't care as long as I get results. And fast. You have the full resources of the rep detect unit at your disposal. Sanders' body is being processed down in the crime lab right now. And of course you can check the mainframe for personnel files on Sander and Leah. And any Esper footage of the snake pit last night. Maybe you'll get lucky. I've uploaded to your KIA all relevant information that we have so far.
Well, initially, I will, of course, wish to know what the Inspector wishes to do. He is, after all, my superior, at least in my eyes, if not in the company's eyes. So, yes, I will perhaps look to him and say, where do you think we should start, Inspector?
I'll be making extremely pointed eye contact with the Chief. Well, we wouldn't want to disappoint our corporate sponsors. I'll look back over to Fenna. Come on. Let's go see your daddy.
I smile. I would like my relationship with Mr. Novak to start off on a good foot, so I will pretend that I find it amusing. Yes, my father.
Good. Good hunting, huh? You come back if you need anything. Just, I don't want to handhold you. You're big boys and girls.
At this point, I'm already getting up out of my chair and just raising 2 fingers above my head in a kind of mocking salute gesture. The Chief doesn't like me because I go by the book, because I follow all the rules, all the protocols. He likes me because I get things done, and I'm not going to get things done here in the office.
As we start to leave, I will comment and say, I imagine Wallace Corporation's interest in this matter is likely due to the prospect that further action will be taken. Perhaps this is some sort of, organized assault. But I don't know. It could also just purely be an unpleasant incident. What does your gut feeling tell you, Inspector?
And my gut feeling is that any bad news involving replicants is trouble. I say it's 50-50 odds. Either the Nexus 9s aren't as safe as they think they are, and our LH3 unit decided she didn't like what SN9 was up to, or it's a bunch of human supremacists putting bullets inside skin jobs.
I assure you, the chances of that first thing are extremely, almost zero. There is no way that two agents would, for some random reason, hurt each other. That makes no sense.
Doesn't have to be random. Wasn't random when they blacked out the city, was it?
That was a previous model, Inspector. The previous models obviously had several mass deficiencies, and that is why they must be decommissioned.
You got that part right. But what's to say there aren't deficiencies inside you, They said that about 6s, they said that about 8s. Got 3 models of replicants. 2 colossal fuck-ups. Odds aren't looking good in your favors.
For a moment, there is something that does register with what he says in terms of annoyance. Maybe it is being called out for being inefficient. But again, I will ignore it, put it away, and smile and say, well, hopefully I'll be able to stand as evidence of my model's lack of inefficiency.
From your lips to God's ears. But whatever the problem is, we're not going to fix it here having an existential crisis.
No, agreed. Let's make haste.
Your spinner is zooming through the city. Massive billboards and holograms are lighting up the gloom. You arrive in Sector 4, the heart of the entire system's replicant industrial complex, and the sun around which that interstellar system revolves is Wallace Corporation. This megatech titan is one of the only remaining superpowers, employing tens of millions across the system, owning a sizable portion of LA real estate, and driving various essential industries including protein, digital companions, the Wallace Digital Network, and replicants. It's an unspoken truth that Wallace Corp is above the law, with enough money and influence to sway all corners of commerce and politics to their whims. That's why the LAPD doesn't really have a say or sway in Sector 4. Wallace employs its own security forces that are armed for Armageddon, and even the UN turns a blind eye to Wallace's buddies and backyard. And this is where you find yourself, heading towards the Wallace Corporation headquarters. The two of you are in your spinner, and you have maybe a few more minutes before you arrive. Do you say anything to each other?
You see Novak going through the routine of preparing all of his equipment, double-checking his blaster, making sure everything's in working order, getting the KIA set up just the way he likes it on the right screens. As I'm doing that, I just look out of the corner of my eye to Fenna and ask, all right, so what is it you're good for?
Do you mean what are my training specialties?
Sure, we can call it that.
Very well. I have been primarily designed to be useful for things such as negotiation, interrogation, manipulation, undercover work, infiltration, and, if necessary, quick and to the point violence. But I confess I am not like the two we're looking into. I would not designate myself as combat ready. I, in a long gunfight, would perhaps not be as proficient as yourself.
So you're a spy bot.
You could say that.
Alright. No, look, in the office, let me lead.
Of course.
She's probably not going to like what I have to say, and that's the point. I want you to watch her reaction. See if there's something she's not telling us when she gets pissed at me, yeah?
I consider this for a second, and I nod. That seems reasonable. Yes, you are the stick and I can be the carrot.
I fucking hate how they use metaphors. That's a thought I will keep to myself, but there's just another flash. Every time they act human, it creeps me out.
I simply smile, thinking your idea genuinely a good one.
Indeed. While still under construction, the Wallace Corp HQ towers over the sprawling cityscape, leaving no doubt about who wields the ultimate power in Los Angeles in 2037. And you bring your spinner into a huge internal garage. And you get out of your spinner and descend into the cavernous and eerily empty interior that's constantly cast in a pale golden light and shadows of water. There's very little people around here, but you do see that you're constantly being watched through cameras. There's a front desk that you come to, where a clerk receives you, Their mannerisms clearly tell you that they're a replicant. It's really obvious here, and makes perfect sense, of course. You're expected. And they stand up and begin leading you towards an office.
Just walking, hands in my pockets, making pointed eye contact with any camera I see, any security guard I see. They're watching me, I'm watching them. We know how this goes.
I take a moment to enjoy the ambience. I think there is something pleasant about the way the building is designed. Grandiose, awe-inspiring. I feel that comes from me and not an implanted memory. I'm not entirely sure.
Yes, you've read in articles that have been written that they even have real wood here, and that the water is fresh, clean. The clerk takes you to an office that's marked Wallace Corporation, VP of Public Relations, Quell. And the door is open for you, and Quell receives you. She has dark brown hair and Latin features. She's wearing a dark suit that is elegant and exudes sharpness and professionalism. Ah, officers. Welcome. Thank you for seeing us so quickly. This is, as you can imagine, a case of great importance not just the city and the system itself, but also to Wallace Corporation. Please, sit. And she points you to 2 chairs that have been prepared in front of her desk.
I waste no time. I'll take my seat, reaching into the interior pocket of my trench coat, pulling out a pack of cigarettes. Happy to be here. The LAPD is always willing to be of service. You don't mind, do you?
No, of course not, she says, smiling.
Then I will light it up cheerfully, probably having already reached for my lighter before she gave me permission, but the timing works out.
What do you do, Fenna?
I take the time to sit down and assess my fellow replicant. How does this individual seem to me?
Quell in particular, she exudes... there's a kind of quality to her. Like, she's a step above. You've heard rumors of these angels that Wallace has chosen for himself. Perhaps she's one of them. The best of the best that he could make.
Yes, there are certain modifications or pre-programs that I would be aware of or have heard of that, well, you can't just give to every single replicant. It would be rather unnerving. Even the feats of extreme agility and strength that I have need to be tempered a little. It's the work of older models that, well, causes problems. People aren't necessarily reassured if you jump through the air and throw built chairs at them willy-nilly. At least that's what I was told by my handler.
Quell sits down and she begins speaking to you. Yes, so as I was just saying, the Nexus 9 launch was just over a year ago, and the public is still getting used to replicants among them. The survival of society as we know it, and the future of humanity as a species, depends on a smooth integration of the Nexus 9s. This case, I'm afraid, is, it's worrying, because, as you know, we have a perfect record. There's been no Nexus 9s that have been convicted of any crime, and we want to keep it like that. And we also want to make sure that, well, that no one is out there destroying our precious creations. Tell me, what have you learned so far?
I pointedly look over to Novak, curious to see how he responds.
Well, I gotta say we haven't learned much. The orders were to come straight here. You rang the little bell. Now we have to be on the leash. I was under the impression you had something to tell me.
I must say I am pleased to hear that you prioritize this meeting. It means that you are putting weight into this relationship between the LAPD and Wallace Corporation. I am greatly relieved at this fact, and I do hope that you will continue to keep us up to date with your progress. I'm sure that there will be things that we can do to help you along the way. The more we know, the more we can help.
Of course, the LAPD is extremely adamant in working together with Wallace Corporation to resolve this matter swiftly and to the best of our ability.
There is something I can tell you, I am, of course, familiar with the unit that has disappeared, codenamed Leah. You will find in your investigations that she failed a few baseline tests recently, and that she was brought to Wallace for recalibration. This is standard procedure. Her particular model is an early one, but the memories were designed by the Lilith Memory Lab, which is one of our most reliable and most widely used suppliers even today. So I assure you that you have nothing to fear from the stability in her baseline. Now, with tens of millions of N9s being produced, minor malfunctions are to be expected in rare cases. But let me assure you that it's highly unlikely that this is something that has anything to do with Leah's disappearance. I would suggest you, humbly, you are of course professionals, you are of course the ones who are experts in this field, but I think that perhaps you had better look into these human supremacist groups that are inciting hatred and violence against the replicants. We understand that they were present at the scene, and, well, they are making things difficult for us. And it would be beneficial for society if such groups were not given the level of power that they have today, she says, smiling.
She said a lot of words there, but all I heard was failed baseline tests. So I'm pulling out a notepad. I'm scribbling in it by hand. I know I can use the KIA. It's not the point.
I, of course, take out my KIA and begin making notes in it, before saying, "What about the deceased model? Were there any problems with them?"
No, they have a perfect record. They haven't been sent in for recalibration.
Do we know why they were at the snake pit in the first place? They were following up something, weren't they?
Yes, you know that Deputy Chief Holden told you that they were investigating reports of Nexus 8 activity. So a Nexus 8 had been sighted in connection with that. He wasn't actually more clear than that. It could be that they were investigating and they hadn't maybe uploaded all that evidence themselves yet, or hadn't given a full report to Holden yet. But he knew that they were investigating N8s, and that's always a good thing to be doing because, well, there are still many of them out there. Many have been hunted down, but many were made by Tyrell before the blackout.
Interesting. It is disturbing to know that Leah has been exhibiting failed baseline behavior. But again, going missing. We really need to get more information from the scene of the crime. For now, I will just nod and make notes.
That is what I can tell you right now, but as I said, we are more than happy to support your investigations going further. Please don't hesitate to contact us, and yes, we do so appreciate being kept in the loop.
Thank you, it is appreciated, and we certainly will keep you in mind, but I think it seems that for the moment we need to get to work. We don't have any more to report.
You can hear the derision. I obviously believe the corporation is hiding something, but cannot say it out loud.
Quell stands up. Well, again, inspectors, thank you so much for making the time for us so quickly. It is refreshing to see such stellar attitude from the LAPD. I believe we have a bright future working together. And the clerk begins to show you out if you will let yourselves be shown out, or if you have something further you wish to ask Quell about.
I think that's all for me for now.
I'm the same. I think I will wait a bit until we are being escorted back to the car, and then when we're in the vehicle, I shall just say, it is troubling to know that Leah was possibly unstable at the time. I worry that perhaps whatever incident occurred may have been instigated by that. That would be unfortunate.
Unfortunate's one word for it. How was your last baseline again?
Perfect. Thank you for asking.
Oh, so you don't feel sad that one of your robot friends ended up, maybe snapping, maybe going a little weird?
It would be unfortunate, but no, I do not feel anything of the sort. Do not worry.
Whether or not I worry. You worry? That's something you think about?
Of course. I could be said to be worried about failing in my duties, yes. Need I remind you that a complete lack of feeling is actually not part of our design. That was one of the issues with the older models. The lack of empathy, as it were.
You've passed my test for now.
Thank you. That's good to know. The question is, where next? I feel perhaps now the time has come to either, well, possibly Leah's apartment actually could reveal something about the state of Leah, but also the scene of the crime would be good for getting ground information. I'd like to know who saw what. Did anyone see Leah exit the scene, or did they exit under duress? Did they exit because they were taken somewhere by someone else? But what do you think, Inspector?
Now let's play out a scenario, right? If it's human supremacists, Leah's apartment's not going to tell us anything. We'd get the most information from the scene of the crime or the Esper footage. If it's something else, if Leah's failed baseline tests mean something more, we're going to be able to see that behavior in the footage, yeah, but also maybe in the body. My concern, and meaning no disrespect to your creators, is the longer we leave that body unattended in the crime lab, the more likely it is that a Wallace Corp thug or a Wallace Corp payment finds its way somewhere it shouldn't, and evidence that we might want to find goes away. You know what I mean?
I tilt my head a little. Part of me, of course, wants to correct Mr. Novak and say that that would not be possible at all. Why would Wallace Corporation interfere with their own investigation? But perhaps part of my actual training, part of my implants, does actually logically agree that that could be a possibility, especially if they were hiding something. So I shall say, you might be right. Perhaps, just in case, we should investigate the body as soon as possible. As a precaution, of course.
You don't sound convinced. What, you're telling me with all that manipulation training you didn't see anything suspicious in the way Quell was behaving?
No. But that doesn't mean that there was nothing to be suspicious of. You don't always need to act suspicious to be up to something suspicious, right? And I smile.
On that, we have finally managed to agree.
Besides, I believe in your insight, and your intuition. And it makes no difference as long as we are doing something, so I win both ways.
Yes, in that, you are correct. I don't like the word win. And you can see a little bit of a hitch in the corner of my eye as you say it, but we don't need to draw attention to it. I'm not going to dwell on it. We have to please the Wallace Corp, but they're not our only constituents. The longer that crime scene goes without seeing LAPD bodies on site, the worse things are going to be. So how about this? We hit up the crime scene, we see what we can find, we do our interviews, we do our evidence collection, and we hope one of those things we find will give us our next priority. Does that check out?
That sounds perfectly fine to me, Inspector. Let's go.
And you head off. It's now the afternoon, and you arrive at Nightclub Row in Sector 1. Like the old Las Vegas Boulevard, this one long and massive strip of bright lights and nightlives is the backbone of the entertainment district. Here, legendary venues sell the dream and set the standard for the entire system. For the rest, it's a brutal rat race, where new bars and clubs pop up and implode overnight, only for the next club owner to pounce on the lease. Even on Nightclub Row, there are only so many spotlights, and every mover and shaker will do whatever it takes to get center stage. The strip is always filled with people in party outfits, many drunk, high, or both. And there are touts trying to get people into their particular venue, as well as women and men selling their companionship to those willing to pay. Now, one of the places that have managed to somehow stay afloat on Nightclub Row for decades now is Taffy Lewis Snake Pit. This variety club is infamous for its strong drinks, 5-star entertainment, and sordid history, something that Taffy Lewis has actually used to make the place, yes, infamous. Because back in 2019, one of their performers was retired on the street, later revealed as a fugitive Nexus 6 conspirator behind the infamous 2019 Tyrell Corporation murder spree. Taffy Lewis spun this into free publicity, turning his sultry club into a sensation. and the pit still attracts the best stage performers around, but this has been a very bad night and day so far for Taffy Lewis, because there is a police line outside his venue, and there's a small crowd of gawkers that have been assembled. You set your spinner down, and you see this scene now in front of you. The rain is still pouring down. It is afternoon, so it's not bright. It never really gets bright. It's gloomy. What do you do?
I will begin to exit, and as I do, I will just ask Novak, "Oh, can I borrow a cigarette, please?"
One eyebrow arching. Borrow's a strange word. But I'm not going to say no. Silently, I will retrieve the pack. 3 missing now, I'm keeping track. And offer 1 to Fenna.
Thank you. Again, perhaps you do not know this, but part of my parameters are that I am, if it is in regard to the mission, of course, and the interests of the LAPD, allowed to, perhaps from this point, no longer need to announce myself as my true nature, unless, of course, it is actually important. It can make groundwork easier.
No, I think that's probably a good idea. And it makes sense to me. People are going to get nervous around replicants. They might treat Fenna differently. It's easier if we just both pretend to be human. I pretend to be a functional human in one kind of way, and she pretends to be a functional human in another kind of way, you know what I mean?
And with that, I'll take the cigarette, ask for the lighter to light it, and then attempt to smoke, and begin moving over to the area, changing my posture. For this, we will not go with a classy lady out on a party. No, I am a investigator of the LAPD. I am slouched, I am weary, I am tired, but willing to work with the people. I don't want to intimidate them. I want them to accept I'm here and hopefully help us, if only just to get rid of us.
So what you see is, you see the snake pit, the neon signs are lit up still, Taffy Lewis snake pit, and you have this small crowd of gawkers. There's an officer who's wearing the typical uniform that's adapted to be standing out in the rain. There's a large yellow LAPD written on his back. And you can approach if you would like. How would you want to just head in? Do you want to talk to the officer? What do you want to do?
Well, it wouldn't be a police procedural if we just walked past the patrol cops, right? Besides, they've been here a little while. Maybe they've seen something. Maybe they've noticed folks lurking around. At the bare minimum, it's nice to just be polite with your coworkers. So after having given Senna the cigarette, I will walk up, making sure my badge is visible, hands still in my pockets, and find the first working stiff who's on the line keeping folks out and say, "Anything fun happened before we got here?"
You see that the officer's name is Esperon, and he looks up to you. "Oh yeah, you can head right on in. They're waiting for you. No, it's been pretty calm. A lot of people have been wanting to check this place out. I gotta warn you. I think the owner, he's not going to be very happy with you. He's been kept waiting for a while now, and he really wants to open up his place again. I get that, but it's been a murder after all, so I suppose he'll just have to understand, huh?"
Yeah, we'll see if we can't get him around to our side of things. Any suspicious persons? Any strangers in the crowd, or just the usual types?
Do you want to have a look at the gawkers?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Then you can roll for observation.
Yeah, I'm working the supremacist theory. Like, I don't know. I don't expect the human supremacists are like skinheads, right? But those kind of groups tend to attract a certain kind of person, you know what I mean? And I'm just looking for those little clues that someone around here is watching us. It's a D12 for my observation and a D8 on my intelligence. I have rolled a 7 and a 3, so 1 success.
That's all you need. Then, as you're looking at the gawkers, there is one person who does stand out. Now, you did mention skinheads. This isn't quite that, but not too far off. There's a tall man with a very pale shaved head that towers above most of the other gawkers. He seems to be studying you, as if he's kind of, trying to catch your attention almost.
You mean like in a, hey, come talk to me kind of way? Or like a, I'm going to keep an eye on you kind of way?
Yeah, kind of like he wants you to talk to him, more like that. More like, hey, I want to share my story, that kind of thing. Because there's a lot of people like that, right? They want to share their story. They want to be special. They want to tell the story of the important things that they saw that's going to break the case and make them heroes. They can be on TV.
Yeah, I know the type. It's usually a waste of time, but 1 in a million, it's the thing that cracks the case open. I'll give Fenna like a shoulder, just kind of bumping into her, and cock my head towards the crowd. There's something I want to check out real quick. You do me a favor and talk this owner guy off the edge?
I think I can do that. Why not? Be careful, though.
Yeah, we'll see. I want to make eye contact with him as I cross over the police line and then look at him, look to a less crowded place. Not in a dark alley alone in a suspicious way, but I don't want to have this conversation in the middle of all the people who are watching, right?
Indeed. You find you get a little bit of distance from the rest of the people there so that you can have a slightly more private conversation. Are you police?
Yeah. You look like a man who's got something he wants to say. And I'll pull out my pack of cigarettes and offer him one.
He accepts. Thank you, that's very kind. Yeah, I saw the whole thing, and I've been wanting to tell my story, but it's like they don't care. I don't know.
Well, let's start at the beginning. Who are you, and why were you around to see something?
My name's Styles, and I was visiting the club, and there was a brawl that erupted. There was some replicant haters. You know, they started jeering at Iris, the dancer on stage. She's an N9. Look, I think I saw, Jal Skylar, the publisher of the Kill magazine. I think I saw him in the crowd. I think this is big, but I don't know. Maybe it's too big.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, not a lot of people want to make an enemy out of Skylar and Kill magazine, right? You end up on front page, Those human supremacists, it can be kind of a nasty bunch, very motivated.
So you have any sense of who started this? You told me the replicant haters, they show up. They start jeering at the skin job on stage. Someone throws a punch. You know who the first person was?
It was difficult to see for sure, but my money is on the supremacists, on the Kill guys. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Skylar himself who started the whole thing. You can roll for insight.
Ooh, 5 and an 8.
Styles is not telling the whole truth.
In this case, I'm going to watch this Styles person. It's the hesitation, right? You can see he's telling the sentence in his head, and then he reaches the thing he's not supposed to say or doesn't want to say, and the brain pauses just a minute before it gets to the next piece. I don't want to put him too far off ease, so I'm just going to shift my posture a little bit and make sure the surface of my badge is pointing directly at him in view. Yeah, that sounds a little... It's kind of how it always goes, nice and textbook. You're sure you didn't see anything else?
And then you can roll for manipulation and see if flashing the badge does reinforce your position.
No, it does not.
Styles very much sticks to his story, and he becomes more and more convincing to you as time goes by. Yeah, no, a Skylar guy, such a... I mean, it's not helping, is it? When people act like that. I mean, we're together after all. The replicants have been reintegrated. We have to make this work. People like that, it's just making it worse.
Yeah, that's what they say, isn't it? Alright, well, I appreciate your help. Can I get your contact information in case we have any further questions?
Yeah, sure. And he scribbles down a number, puts his name down as Styles.
I believe this man now, so I will thank him for for his assistance. Well, I appreciate it, Mr. Looking at the KIA Styles. If you can be any other use to us, I'll let you know. Don't get too far away, yeah?
Yeah, no, hey, I hope you catch him. It's a real sad situation for everybody, huh? Thanks for listening to my story.
Hey, thanks for being a good citizen and stepping forward.
He looks almost proud at that.
Well, then I will make my way back to the club, and hopefully Fenna has taken the edge off of what I assume is a very angry man.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the Immortal game for Free League's Blade Runner. We were joined by our dear friend Aaron Hammonds from Queen's Court Games for this series. The music was made by Tinadiae and was used with permission from their label, Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient for your gaming table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon: Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Graham Barey, Doug Thomson, Lily, Maciej, Black Templar, Dennis Sadecki, and Leonhardt for their generous support. And of course, also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want early access to our content and to hear raw versions of our recordings right after we've done them, or get your name announced as a champion of the Red Moon, do check out our higher level tiers on Patreon. It's a great way to get more Red Moon roleplaying in your life and to help us keep the show going. Thank you again for listening, and remember that all these moments will be lost in time, like tears in rain.